all you people. It's so great to be here with you today. This is so exciting. You know, I was thinking about what Jim Hansen was saying about Kyani being a miracle. And the business is fabulous, and all you guys, your energy and the building that you're doing to make this business so successful is amazing. The products are your foundation upon which we build, right? And the products are a miracle. They take the miracle of nature and wrap them into a package that will enhance anybody's health. And you have that gold in your pockets. It's amazing. So what I'd like to do today is to tell you about how we can age well with Kyani. We are all aging. It's inevitable, right? The only alternative is dying young, and none of us wants to do that. But we have in our culture this mindset that accompanying aging is the inevitable process of decline and not being able to think as well and not being able to move as well. We know that important contributors to the aging process are oxidative stress, free radical damage, and inflammation. And Time magazine has recognized that inflammation is the secret killer. It's what lies behind most of the degenerative diseases of aging. The Kyani Triangle of Health is your answer to that problem. It contains ingredients that have been shown in literally thousands of studies, peer-reviewed studies in the biomedical literature, to reduce inflammation and to provide powerful antioxidant protection against those processes that cause the degenerative diseases of aging. So, our foundational product in Sunrise, the blueberry. Dr. James Joseph has said when it comes to brain protection, there is nothing quite like blueberries. You can call the blueberry the brain berry. Dr. Stephen Bowling from the University of Michigan has said that the naturally occurring chemicals in blueberries contain the anthocyanins. They show promise in mitigating heart conditions such as high blood pressure and inflammatory vascular disease. Just a couple more of the ingredients in Sunrise, just to mention a few, because all of them have contributors to these very, very important protective effects. The Concord grape contains resveratrol, which helps preserve cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, and peripheral vascular health. The grapes have very important anti-inflammatory properties. They stimulate nitric oxide production, and they strengthen the immune system. The raspberries are also extremely strong antioxidants with anti-inflammatory properties, and the seeds contain vitamin E and ALA, which is a potent omega-3 fatty acid. Okay, let's move on to our sunset a little bit. What about those omega-3 fatty acids? These are incorporated into many parts of the body, including the cell membrane. So every single cell of your body has a membrane around it, and those cell membranes require the omega-3 fatty acids to stay pliable and vibrant. The omega-3 fatty acids play a really important role in anti-inflammatory processes, and they're very important in maintaining that pliability. They are essential for healthy brain aging. And DHA, one of the omega-3 fatty acids in sunset, is a key component of all cell membranes. It's abundant in the brain and in the eyes. Now, unfortunately, in the standard American diet, which we call the SAD diet, this has changed over time to be very high in saturated fats and lower in the omega-3 fatty acids. But we know that a low intake of dietary EPA and DHA is associated with increased inflammation, with increased risk of cardiovascular disease, and increased risk of Alzheimer's disease and aging. Who wants that? Nobody, right? So we need to increase our dietary intake of omega-3 fatty acids. Now, when we think about the role that the omega-3s play in atherosclerosis and peripheral vascular disease, we know that they improve plaque stability, they improve vascular permeability, and they decrease endothelial activation. And all of these effects reduce the chances of a cardiovascular event or a cerebrovascular event. So the literature is vast, and a lot of these details are available at kyaniscience.com, and I encourage you to go there and review it. But multiple studies have shown higher survival rates, longer life, in people who have higher dietary intake of marine omega-3 fatty acids and established cardiovascular disease. So even if you already have heart disease, cerebrovascular disease, if you take omega-3 fatty acids, you can prolong your life. The science is solid on this. The American Heart Association recommends increased oily fish intake and the use of omega-3 fatty acid supplements for the primary and secondary prevention of coronary heart disease. And the mechanisms underlying this protective effect are many. They're anti-inflammatory, they protect against platelet action or clotting, they reduce blood pressure, they preserve a normal heart rhythm, and they lower triglycerides. One other thing they do is they protect your telomeres. Now what are the telomeres? The telomeres are these little red caps on the end of your chromosomes, and they protect the genes in the chromosomes. And unfortunately, one of the things that happens as we age is the length of those telomeres gets smaller. So the length in base pairs in the DNA gets down by less than 20% by the time we're 65 years old. But in the laboratory, shorter telomeres are associated with faster aging of cells and shorter lifespan of cells in culture. And in humans, shorter telomeres predict an increased risk of mortality or death. We know that if you're more optimistic, you can protect your telomeres. So postmenopausal women aged 50 to 86 were studied, and the telomere length in their immune cells was looked at, and they were assessed at the same time for whether they were optimistic or pessimistic. And the short telomere length correlated with pessimism. So this is a correlation that doesn't prove causation, but it seems very wise for us to protect our telomeres and to stay optimistic. And I would say, if you're sitting in this room and you're a Kyani distributor, it should not be hard to do at all. Okay, so let's think about the benefits of nitric oxide. You know that Kyani Nitro Extreme and Nitro FX are precursors of nitric oxide, and you heard from Dr. Kutab and Dr. Burke yesterday how powerful they are in enhancing nitric oxide in the endothelial cells in culture. Nitric oxide helps cells burn more fat, it increases our metabolic rate, it promotes wound healing, it reduces pain, encourages lung health, and inhibits viruses and bacteria through improved immune function. Nitric oxide improves digestive function, it helps provide restful sleep, and helps to maintain healthy blood sugar levels. But nitric oxide also has an extremely important role in reducing inflammation in the blood vessels, and there's a very specific mechanism whereby it does this. The endothelial cells have a process that we call exocytosis, which means out of the cell. And just like all those folks came on the stage and they were tossing the t-shirts out at you earlier, these cells toss out these packets of inflammatory molecules that cause inflammation. And this is the process that we call exocytosis. And nitric oxide actually affects a molecule in the cell. This is called N-ethylmalamide sensitive factor, we abbreviated NSF. And the effect of the nitric oxide in the cell is to stop this process of exocytosis by blocking the ability of NSF to push out those inflammatory molecules. Is that a miracle? Yes, it is. Okay. So the important thing to remember here is that vascular aging is a modifiable risk factor for cardiovascular disease, that impaired endothelial vasodilation is an early hallmark of arterial aging, and we can preserve endothelial function as an essential determinant of healthy aging. And how can we do that? With the Kyani triangle. So the nitric oxide prevents the blood vessel inflammation by inhibiting that release of inflammatory molecules. The endothelial cells, we went backwards, sorry. Now, one other thing I'd like to say is that osteoarthritis is extremely common. It's a very common cause of pain and disability in older adults. And for many, many years, we thought about osteoarthritis as, oh, that's just wear and tear arthritis, and that things like rheumatoid arthritis were the real inflammatory things. But we're now starting to realize that inflammation plays a very important role in osteoarthritic pain. And reduction of inflammation is now a major pathway of exploration for the treatment of osteoarthritis. So this paper, which was published in 2013, shows that anti-inflammatory dietary supplements, including polyunsaturated fatty acids, or the omega-3s, are being used in trials to address bone and muscle loss. And studies suggest a relation between higher omega-3 fatty acids and better muscle and bone in older adults. So I say to you all, do not accept pain and physical limitation as a normal part of the aging process. For yourself, for the people you love, for those around you, it's important to exercise, very important to stay active and positive and protect those telomeres, but most importantly, stay on that Kyani triangle of health. Thank you so much.